365 Sports.
Welcome back to another show, 365 Sports Mizzou with Rogue Media. My name is Davis Wilson, your host. Appreciate you guys for being here. It's Wednesday morning where I am here in Dallas, Texas. It's starting to get cold. It's supposed to get really cold here in Dallas in a couple days, which for my Missouri listeners is probably nothing. You guys have been dealing with it for a while, but it's stayed relatively temperate here in Dallas until right about now. It's about to get cold, and the changing weather usually really kicks my ass, and it's doing it right now. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm going through it allergy wise and overall health wise. Just not feeling it right now. But I'm battling through for you guys. All that to say, though, this might be a shorter episode because I don't feel great and my voice sounds ridiculous, and I'm not sure anybody wants to listen to it. So we also don't have any football to talk about, really. There's been no news. To recap, you should go listen to Tuesday's show. Mizzou landed Chris Graves Jr., a starting cornerback from Ole Miss. That's a pretty big land for them, I think. Just kind of giving you a better picture of what the secondary is going to look like for Missouri next year. There's a lot of names there, and it's hard to know exactly who's going to play where and what's going to excuse me. Who's going to play safety, who's going to play corner. It feels like they have a couple guys who can maybe do both. And I think that would be, like, for example, Elijah Dotson. I talked about this yesterday. I mean, if they want to play him at corner, that's fine. But I think he came to Michigan last year as a safety. So maybe they can put him at safety. And I don't know. But I talked about the secondary a little bit yesterday. So go back to that episode and listen to it if you'd like. For now, let's talk basketball. Unfortunately, Missouri dropped last night's game against Georgia at Mizzou Arena. They lost by a disappointing 2-point margin, 74-72. They had a 1-point lead with 9 seconds left. Were not able to close it out, which feels kind of like a theme here with the Dennis Gates teams. And there's been a couple close wins that I can think of. Tennessee in 2023 with the buzzer beater. There was another buzzer beater that year that I'm forgetting now. And then last year's Florida game was very close, a good win. Kansas game last year was close. Florida game this year was close. A lot of those games, though, were instances of Missouri being up big and letting their opponent back in and then winning a close game, which doesn't feel like it should count for close game wins, but I guess technically it does. But I was thinking about it, and there's just not a ton of examples of Missouri in a really true close game like this one. Like, for me, I just don't feel comfortable watching the team in this situation. It feels like it's just going to be a loss. And I think Gates drew up a pretty good play to Cruz the first time, but I don't think you have 5 seconds to go on the court with the game on the line and you're only down by 2. I think you should go try to get fouled or get a layup and kick out if there's something. But they really take their time getting the ball up the court, waste like 3 seconds even getting the ball across half court, and you have to hoist up like a 40-foot three-pointer attempt by Jacob Cruz that, of course, doesn't go in. And I mean, that was disappointing. It seems like that could be a turning point in the season. A lot like how the Florida and Kentucky wins earlier felt like it could be a more positive turning point in the season. This feels the same way, but more negative. I mean, this, it's not like you're out of it. You're 3-3. They're now 13-6 in the SEC. 13-6 overall, 3-3 in the SEC. You have another home game coming up against Oklahoma, a game that you feel like you should definitely win. I think Oklahoma is kind of struggling. They're 1-5 in SEC play. This is a game that Missouri should absolutely win, and maybe that gets them back on track and they go on a run. But I don't know. I mean, it's you're now at a point where, again, it's not make or break, but you're in the home stretch of the season. SEC play is still young, but overall for the season, you're running out of opportunities to pick up some wins. So they've got to go on a run, and these close losses. It's now 3 close losses. A close loss to Ole Miss, close loss to LSU, close loss to Georgia, and LSU was an 8-point game, but it was certainly a winnable game for Missouri. Same thing with Ole Miss. It was a 7-point game, but very winnable. So, just figuring out how to win those closer games would be a huge boost, I think. But, yeah, I mean, it was another bad start. Missouri couldn't score. I think they went like 9 minutes without scoring a basket or something ridiculous. It was like 8 minutes maybe. It's just like there's too many inconsistencies. There's not enough that this team can really count on every day, except for he led the way in scoring for Missouri, of course. And, of course, now my computer isn't going to load. There we go. Mark Mitchell led the way for Missouri, had 18 points. He was tied for the lead in all scorers. Georgia's Marcus Millender off the bench also had 18 points. But Mark Mitchell, 7 of 15 from the field, one of 2 from 3, made all his free throws, which was nice. Missouri only missed 1 free throw. They were 92% from the field. So, I did a lot of complaining about their free throws percentage when they were winning games. Maybe they need to go back to missing free throws and they'll start winning, because 11 to 12, you'll take that every time. But that's compared to Georgia's 18 of 21. Missouri didn't get to the line near enough, and that's ultimately probably where this game lands. Jaden Stone had 13 points, 5 of 14 shooting. He had 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. A pretty nice game for him. Jacob Cruz kind of came alive a little bit. He had 11 points. First time in double digits in a while, I think. He was 4 of 8, 3 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds. Hit a huge shot with 9 seconds left to give Missouri a lead, and then, had a really bad look, like literally a 35-footer for the win. Just not what I wanted to see at all. But it is what it is. Sean Phillips, pretty good game. It was 4 of 5, 9 points. He did foul out, and he didn't grab any he grabbed 2 rebounds, which just is so ridiculous. You're 7 foot tall. You need to be getting rebounds. But he did score pretty well for Missouri. T.O. Barrett, 9 points in 28 minutes, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Trent Pierce had 8 points in 19 minutes. I think he should be playing a bit more. He's one of your best players for sure. Anthony Robinson, this is where we can kind of have our discussion. Gates called him out this week, said, he has to play better or we're not going to win. And he didn't play better. He played 26 minutes. Only scored 4 points. Of all Mizzou players who scored, he was the lowest point getter. He was 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, 4 rebounds, 3 turnovers to just 1 assist, 1 steal. I don't know. It's getting to a point where maybe you hit the panic button here, and I'll put my hand up and say I might have been wrong about him. He didn't take enough of a step. It almost feels like he regressed a little bit. His confidence feels shot. He's not playing in important moments anymore. T.O. Barrett actually surpassed him minutes-wise. T.O. Barrett played 28 minutes. Anthony Robinson played 26. And honestly, T.O. Barrett just looks like the better player right now, which I think is a shame, because I thought Anthony Robinson might be the team's best, most important piece this year, and he just hasn't been that way. But T.O. Barrett's kind of taken his role. I mean, they're playing pretty equal minutes. In this one, last game, Anthony Robinson only played 17 minutes. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's not there. There's something that's not there, and it's really unfortunate. And I think there's still a lot of time for you to get it figured out if you're Anthony Robinson. Maybe it's just a slump, but it feels like all year, and he has had his good games here and there, but it does feel like all year there's kind of been, he's left a lot to be desired out of his play. And, oh gosh. And, I think this team is a different team if he's at his best self, and he's not right now. And I think, at the end of the day, that's what this comes down to. You're not getting enough out of your returning players. And I think when you look back at, how Gates prepared for this season, I think he was really counting on Mark Mitchell and Anthony Robinson and T.O. Barrett and Trent Pierce and Jacob Cruz to all take these huge steps. And I'm not sure any of them have taken huge steps. I think Trent Pierce obviously has taken a big step. But Mark Mitchell's still the same guy, and that's a really good player. But it's not like he's transcended onto another plane. He's still the same, very hard to guard Mark Mitchell, which should be enough. But like T.O. Barrett has gotten better, but he's not not better, not enough of an improvement to mask the lack of improvement from Anthony Robinson Jr. I think like that is where you really strike out. And I think that Gates didn't really hit the portal that hard because he expected his guys to improve. It was kind of an old-fashioned approach, like from year to year. You're not so worried. Back in the day, you're not super worried about rebuilding your roster every single year. You're bringing back your guys, and I think Gates tried that this year, and it just didn't. It hasn't worked out enough, and it sucks because this team's close, and if you just had one more piece, or if you just got a little bit more from Anthony Robinson Jr., I think you're in a different spot right now. So it's definitely a bummer. But I'm not going to put a nail in the coffin of the season yet. I mean, there's still a lot of basketball left, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to pick up some big wins, and they can start a new win streak later this week against Oklahoma. That game, if you're curious, that game is on the 24th, so that would be Saturday. Game's on the 24th at 1 o'clock on ESPN2. And then the week after that, they go to Alabama and then host Mississippi State, another set of games that you can win. Alabama, though, is a really good team, so that'll be tough. But you got to start beating some really good teams because you've dropped games to LSU, who's at the bottom of the SEC right now. You've dropped games to Auburn, who's not been the same Auburn as they were. So, it's time to start picking up some wins, and they got to do it now because, their analytics, their rankings aren't that great. Like KenPom and Net both took hits last night, which you couldn't really afford to have those take hits because they weren't very good to start with. But, we'll see what happens. I think it's a lot's going to have to depend on, if Anthony Robinson can get it going a little bit because, it's a real hole in the roster when he's not himself. So I think that's all I have. I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll
NFL playoffs. Let's go. All right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast. And with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Make every moment matter this NFL postseason with DraftKings. I am really looking forward to the third times the charm matchup with the Bills and the Patriots. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code ALLMIZZOU. That's code ALLMIZZOU to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
All right, that's all I have, really. We'll continue to monitor Mizzou football and their efforts in the transfer portal. I still think some things will happen in the next couple days, weeks, and whatever. But that's all I have for today. Missouri plays Oklahoma at home on Saturday. So I'll have coverage of that as the week goes on. Thanks for being here. Stay healthy, stay warm, and I'll see you soon.
365 Sports.